Tonight, Grand Imam of Al-Azhar and Pope Francis's global call for peace, and another migrant tragedy unfolds in Greece. We cover stories about a US city banning pride flags, Russia's response to Canada's seizure of cargo plane, and Saudi's bid to normalize ties with Israel. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I am Catherine Bullock. Pope Francis and the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Sheikh Ahmed Al-Tayeb, have called for global peace in a briefing to the UN Security Council. The Pope, who is recovering from a recent surgery, sent a statement that was read by a Vatican Secretary for International Relations. The Pope says in the statement, the world is fighting a third world war. He says humanity is suffering from a famine of fraternity. The Pope says these days the battlefield is unlimited due to weapons of mass destruction. He says now is the time to say no to war. The Grand Imam of Al-Azhar spoke virtually to the meeting. He said that human fraternity is the key to global peace. Al-Tayeb urged members to end wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Libya, and Yemen. He called for an independent Palestinian state to be recognized. The death toll from a boat crammed with migrants that sank off the coast of southwestern Greece has risen to at least 69. Greek media reports at least 104 migrants have been rescued. It says fears are the numbers of death will rise, as survivors said the vessel was carrying up to 700 migrants. Most of these migrants were from Pakistan, Egypt, and Syria. Greek authorities are investigating 3 survivors on suspicion of being human traffickers. The rescued migrants will be questioned to determine the exact cause of the tragedy. Greek President Katerina Sakalaropoulou visited the area where the rescued migrants are being managed. Greece is observing a 3-day period of national mourning for the victims of the shipwreck. A mosque and homes of Muslims in Bosnia and Herzegovina's Sumanci town have been subject to numerous Islamophobic attacks. The town is in the city of Kapujina, which is near the border with Croatia and the Adriatic Sea. The chief imam of the city's Islamic Council says the mosque attacked. First, the windows of the mosque were broken. Then, the windows and a door of the mosque were hit with an air gun. The imam says attackers also targeted houses of Muslims. Police are investigating the attacks and looking for the perpetrators. The imam says in the past, a dead lizard was thrown into the mosque area where a funeral prayer was taking place. Please stay tuned. We will be back after a short break. A city in Michigan called Hamamtramck has banned pride flags from city properties, including schools. The news comes after Hamtramck City Council held a 3-hour public debate. Numerous residents said the flag contradicts their religious beliefs. The new policy will also ban racist and political flags. The city joins more than 24 municipalities and school districts in the US that have put bans on 2 LGBTQ+ flags. Orange County in California voted last week to fly only national, state, and prisoner of war flags on municipal buildings. Similar measures have been enacted in Southern California cities Huntington Beach, Redlands, and Delano. Cold Springs in New York restricted in August last year the types of flags flying on municipal property, except national, state, and prisoner of war flags. Southington, Connecticut, near Hartford, passed in April last year a similar policy. Delaware, Ohio passed a policy in March last year allowing 3 types of flags: the US, the state flag, and prisoner of war flag. Russia is vowing to respond to Canada's recent seizure of a Russian cargo plane. The plane was grounded at Toronto Pearson Airport by order of the Canadian government over the weekend. It has been there since February last year. A Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman says the answer will be 100%. She says Moscow would decide how and when to act. The Canadian Foreign Ministry says the targeted Russian aircraft is believed to be owned by 2 companies Canada recently imposed sanctions against due to their complicity in President Putin's war in Ukraine. Canada became the first G7 country last year to enact a law that allows Ottawa to seize assets of sanctioned people. It also allows the government to divert the forfeited money to victims of the sanctioned regime. The Saudi embassy in Washington says the kingdom will not establish normalized ties with Israel until a Palestinian state is formed. The news comes as the United States intensifies its efforts to get Israel and Saudi Arabia to normalize relations. While he was talking to the media, the kingdom's spokesperson highlighted the Saudi-backed Arab Peace Initiative, which has been introduced over 20 years ago in 2002. The initiative offers full diplomatic relations between Israel and 57 Arab and Muslim nations once a resolution is reached with the Palestinians. The spokesperson says this Arab Peace Initiative remains on the table. Saudi officials have consistently maintained their public stance that normalization requires the establishment of a Palestinian state based on pre-1967 borders. Israeli media reports that Saudi Arabia has shown willingness to explore normalizations, but Saudi expects substantial concessions from the US, including cooperation on a civilian nuclear program and economic support. Saudi Arabia also expects a significant concession to be offered to the Palestinians as part of any normalization deal. While speaking to American media, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has expressed his optimism about normalization between Israel and Saudi Arabia, but says a deal ultimately rests in the hands of the Saudis. Thank you for watching. Sound Vision is a not-for-profit organization that produces this show, and we need your support for donations. Please scan the QR code on the broadcast or go to muslimnetwork.tv to donate now, so that we can continue to amplify the voices of Muslims in Canada and abroad.